It's Friday. We've survived. Welcome to Democracy Ish with Waj and Danielle. And folks, you live long enough to see the roles reverse. Usually I'm the one hunched over Danielle, worried about my health. And then Danielle, just 3 minutes ago, before she always looks lovely, but decided to a little dap up, a little makeup shake up, she was like, Waj,
I'm
sorry that I'm late. I'm sick. And I'm like, Danielle, you could take the day off. He goes, Waj, I have bills to pay. And then I'm like, I get it because, folks, it's American Hunger Games. Everything is going terrible. Get as much money as you can. Who knows what we're going to
Woo.
have? Will we have crumbs? Will we have cake? I don't know. Maybe you can be a gladiator. And we're going to talk about Trump's American Hunger Games. Essentially, he said it without saying it yesterday, the gladiator sports. But some breaking news we were all awaiting. Today, Danielle, is the deadline. The deadline, for those who don't know, is to release the Epstein Files. Now, before we get into it, the Department of Justice, my friends, can release it at any time. They could release it right now, as Danielle and I are speaking. They could release it 3 months ago. They could release it 6 months ago. They could release it 10 months ago. But they haven't released it. But the deadline to release the files was today. Well, take a guess. Did the DOJ release the Epstein Files? It is lunchtime right now, 12 p.m. Danielle.
No,
No,
they have not. So I woke up like yeah, everybody knows I am sick, but I'm powering through
but you
because
look great.
thank you because news never sleeps. But so woke up this morning, right? We all saw first off, I went through yesterday on the Danielle Moodie show was the in-depth New York Times
Oh,
article.
yeah. Can you tell
Nicola,
people about it? I saw it.
yeah, Nick Confessori, and Julie Bates. I think it was the two reporters interviewed 30 former employees of Jeffrey Epstein. It was chilling. On top of which, then you had the oversight committee release 70 new photos, images, text messages
Yep.
that came out from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that they have access to.
And can you tell them who was in it? A New York Times
Oh,
columnist who was in it?
David Brooks, who funny, haha, has been writing about the fact that Democrats shouldn't be paying attention to the Epstein files. And lo and behold, the New York Times actually came out and said he's a reporter. He had a reason to be at those events. He had a reason to be in those places. Don't you think, though, that he should have offered to the public that I have spent time in Jeffrey Epstein's orbit, and so my perspective may be skewed? Maybe that would be what's that word? What's that phrase? Journalistic integrity
Well, he
that he
hasn't
showed
he
zero
hasn't
of.
responded to any questions about it. And furthermore, for those who haven't followed the timeline, as Danielle said last month, just randomly out of the blue, he decides to use his New York Times column space to be like, "I'm over the Epstein files.
Yep.
This is just gossip. This is salacious. Like, why are we talking about it?" And then a month later, oh, you're in the same little meeting with all these other influential people after Epstein was a convicted pedophile.
So, it's fascinating to me, right? You have what did we have this week? I mean, my God, we had the Susie Wiles interview, right? Where she's like, yeah, of course Donald Trump's in the Epstein files. It doesn't mean that he's guilty, and Bill Clinton was in
Young Playboy.
yeah,
Can you tell him the
50
age?
years old. 50 years old is a young
Young,
playboy. But again,
young.
remember that adolescence in America goes up until I think Waj until you're like what is it, 79. So,
But what happens if you're a black boy just going home with a hoodie?
well, you're born an adult. I don't know if you know that. Like that's the science. That's the science of America. When you're black, you're born an adult. When you're white, you're able to kind of move through adolescence for your entire adult arc experience. And we just wait for you to like grow into your role as the senator from Maine said about Donald Trump. Like he'll grow into the position because that's why we elect presidents, right? For them to learn on the fucking job. Nonetheless, what we know, right, is that, and I said this yesterday, Donald Trump laid down with a bunch of dogs, right? And he has fleas all over him.
Mm.
I do not care if there has yet to be from the Epstein files, a credible accusation towards him. For this is your best friend. Everybody saw you as your best friend. Do you know what your best friend does for a living, Waj? I know what my best friends do for a living. Do you know how they make their money, how they spend their weekends? I know how my best friends make their money and spend their weekends. So again, this idea that, oh, it's totally okay that him and Epstein had been on the prowl, as the New York Times reported, on the prowl in
Mm.
Atlantic City and in Palms, and in at the Palm Estate, and in this place and in that place, using women as currency. These are the conversations that are happening in the press about a sitting president of the United States, and there isn't enough of an uproar. So David Brooks should have every seat when he tells us it's just salacious.
And yesterday, the House Oversight Committee, they released 70 photos, not from the Epstein files, but from the Epstein estate, folks, because there's lots of leaks. We've talked about this before. Epstein estate, and that's Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who claims that, his brother was not suicidal, was murdered. So they have a tranche of documents and they're drip, 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 dripping. And then secondly, you have the survivors themselves who are waiting for Congress to do the right thing, but they said, okay, we're going to name them, and they're now more emboldened. Number three, you have the FBI agents who have been tasked and are probably working overtime as we speak right now to scrub Donald Trump. I'm not making this up.
Mm-hmm.
About 1,000 plus FBI agents have been asked by the DOJ to find and scrub Donald Trump's name, and and these people are so incompetent, the leadership, that they were all working off the same Excel sheet. So some of those individuals
Only the best
have been
people.
leaking. They leaked to Allison, a mother she wrote report she wrote, and apparently, according to some of these leaks, they've seen horrific things that this president has done. Right, and then the fourth leak is Ghislaine Maxwell. And I always want to remind people, Danielle, because I know you could get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It was serving it in Florida. She was Epstein's right-hand woman, according to the survivors. In addition to engaging in the solicitation and sex trafficking, she also raped these girls, right? She is a child predator, and no one, and I mean no one so far, has explained how she's the only person in history to somehow, with her felony status, get a plum transfer to Club Fed, where right
Yep.
now she has a dog, she has yoga. All the
Yep.
reports that come out is that everyone hates her because she's being pampered. She's getting high profile visits. And again, this week, she has asked for a commutation. And so that's another leak, folks, that they can't plug because she's the one where did the Wall Street Journal get Ghislaine Maxwell's book that she compiled for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday party? Danielle, where'd they get it from?
Her.
And then when Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's attorney, met her for 2 days, wasn't it interesting that less than a week later, this woman got the only unprecedented transfer from the Florida prison to this minimum security camp, which is not given to anyone else with her status?
And isn't it really interesting that they force the other prisoners to be in their cells while she's having these clandestine meetings so that none of them can leak who is coming because they're not keeping record, right, of who is coming to visit her at Club Fed? Is it really interesting that she has all of these perks? And I wonder, Waj, if she isn't dangling the fact that I'm already in jail. The difference between me and you, Donald Trump, is that like I could still sing and bring down your entire thing. So and she says, I want out. And he says, well, I can't do that, but what else do you want? Does that not sound like
He didn't say no. I'm going to take it a step further. When he was asked publicly, will you pardon Glenn Max? He goes, it's something I could do, can I? Huh? I haven't heard that name in a long time. Glenn? Oh, yeah. But I could do that, couldn't I? He's been asked
he hasn't heard
twice.
it in a long time? He hears it every day.
He's
Every
been
day.
he's been asked twice. He didn't say no. And if I'm Glenn, and I've said this on the show and other shows, I'm seeing George Santos walk. I'm seeing CZ money launder, Trump's business
Yep.
partner, who openly admitted to doing money laundering, walk. I
Former
just saw
president of Honduras.
drug trafficker, walk. 1,600 violent insurrectionists, walk. This guy who milked $1.4 billion out of thousands of Americans, right as he was about to serve his sentence for 7 years, walk. So I'm Glenn. I'm like, I got the goods on this mother effer. Ain't no way in hell I'm spending 20 years of my life. So again, folks, the big scandal right in front of you, just to show you how this, I've said it and I'm going to say it again, this is the biggest cover up that we've seen in modern history. Ghislaine Maxwell, why is she in Club Fed getting pampered, and why did she get a transfer that no other person in history with her felony status has ever gone? And then Deputy Deputy AG Todd Blanche, just an
Mhm.
hour ago, the same
Mhm.
Todd Blanche who was Donald Trump's personal attorney, the same Todd Blanche who went to go talk to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mhm.
And by the
Mhm.
way, totally unheard of for a deputy AG to do that. It's usually the special prosecutor. Who's the special prosecutor? Maureen Comey. What happened to her? She got fired. So Deputy AG Blanche just said the Trump DOJ will miss the Epstein Files deadline. He says several 100,000 docs will be released today, and then over the next couple of
Yep.
weeks, I expect several 100,000 more.
More.
However, all files were required by law to be released today, and I want to
Okay.
bring it back full circle. Nothing is stopping the DOJ from releasing it. I'm just going to be blunt. And going back to a point you mentioned, I talked to Mary about this. And I want to ask you about this. What does it
Mhm.
say about America
Mhm.
that the United States president, folks, and everyone who's watching,
Mhm.
Donald Trump, most likely raped girls with Jeffrey Epstein,
Mhm.
and about 30% of this country is like, what is it about the fact that this man openly partied with Epstein in the 90s? We have all the footage, all the videos, openly chased girls, models, according to Michael Wolff, ages 14 to 19, four young girls who are now women, Danielle, who said that this pervert, Donald Trump, when he was a young man in his 50s, went to their Miss Teen USA dressing rooms.
Yep.
24 women credibly accusing him of sexual assault.
Yep.
One woman, E. Jean Carroll, who won the suit against him, held liable for rape, held liable for defamation. A man who said his personal Vietnam was avoiding STDs. A man who talked about grabbing women by the pee, and America still voted for him. A man who incited an insurrection. And then I want you to think, Daniel, and everyone who's watching, I want to ask you about this. Despite all that, America's like, sure. And despite all that, Donald Trump's like, this one hurt me. So what could be in these files that is so bad that this shameless vulgarian who has been able to skate up in life despite being a predator and a potential pedophile is like, oh shit, this is what could sink me?
Videos and pictures.
Mm.
Because it has not been enough for Donald Trump, in his own words, to say to the American people over and over again exactly all of the things that you said. I can grab a woman by the pee. We have the audio, right? We listened to it a month before America had the decision to make. Do I want Hillary Clinton, the most qualified person to be president of the United States, or do I want a reality TV star? They chose the
Reality
reality
TV
TV.
star.
They chose the reality TV star because she told women that she wasn't interested in baking cookies. The only thing, right? Because we've seen some of the pictures. We've heard the stories. Again, Donald Trump in his own words. I
Mm.
started this pageant because they let you go wherever you want when you own the pageant, walking in on young girls as they are changing, as they are half naked. That is what happens in dressing rooms, right? And then Donald Trump walking over to them while they're half naked and talking to them, right? Groping them, touching them. In the New York Times article, you heard the former Sports Illustrated model who was dating Jeffrey Epstein say that Donald Trump groped her in front of Jeffrey Epstein. She said that she felt like a trophy, right? That he was vying for. Epstein liked that he had something that Donald Trump wanted,
There
right?
you go.
So what could be in these files? Pictures and videos that you actually cannot deny.
Mm.
And so the fact that we even have a president of these United States who has been best friends with a convicted child rapist and a
There you go.
sex trafficker should have been a fucking enough. We
There you go.
shouldn't have needed this amount of evidence to show us who Donald Trump is, because he's been telling us for 10 fucking years. Right? So what does it say about America? It says that we care very little for girls and women, that
There you
we
go.
don't believe them, that we don't care about them, because when we had the opportunity to choose a qualified, brilliant woman to be president of the United States twice, we opted for Donald Trump. So we have to understand that Donald Trump, and I was on Tavis Smiley yesterday with Cornell West, who neither here nor there. But
Got it.
what he said was, Donald Trump is a mirror.
Yeah.
He is a mirror of what and who America is. We
Yep.
cannot not deny this part of ourselves, right? Of who this nation is. When I looked, Waj, at the text message that was a part of the 70 photos that they released, and it is this text message. And let me see if I can find it. I'll put it up here, because I put it up yesterday on the Danielle Moodie show. And I will
Are
tell
you talking
you,
about the WhatsApp yesterday where they were just openly trafficking the girl?
yes, let me see if I can find it.
Jeffrey might like this. Russian 18.
Yes. Read it. The weight, they had the name of the girl, the weight that she had,
I
her
might have.
measurements,
I might
right?
have.
Like all of these things that were listed out. And what I said yesterday, I said, this is how their ancestors talked about Black people.
Mm.
This is a function of chattel slavery, right? These are who these people are and who their ancestors have always. Oh, I found it.
I got.
And who,
I can read it for you.
oh no,
It's.
I just wanted to put it up.
Oh, you got it up. Even better.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. Tries to send someone else. I have a friend scout. She sent me some girls today, but she asked $1,000 per girl. I will send you girls now. Maybe someone will be good for Jay. Jay, we're assuming Jeffrey Epstein. Name of the girl, age, height, measurements, and what is cut off is the country of
Well,
origin.
also, what's cut off? I have in front of me three things: weight, and departure city, Russia.
I mean, this is, again,
And did you see the photos of the girl? They
with the
released these
parts of the book, quotes from the book on her,
Lolita.
of Lolita. Like, they look at women as property, as
That's right.
women as things, in the same way that slaveholders looked at the enslaved as nothing other than a tractor,
That's
right?
right.
If the tractor breaks down, well, you just get rid of it and you get a new one. But their getting rid of it was murder, right? Rape, to be able to use and abuse because they belong to me. This is the mentality of these men. It has never changed, right? And because we allow for dehumanization, Waj, to be a part of what America is, this is how something like this operates out in the open. This operated out in the open
Yep.
with the Steve Bannons of the world and the Bill Gateses of the world and the Noam Chomskys of the world, right? Like, out in the open,
And
because they
also,
know we don't care.
the Larry Summers of the world. For those who haven't been following, Harvard was privately and secretly investigating the two students, not Larry Summers, not Alan Dershowitz, one of the worst people on earth, who, by the way, wrote an op-ed trying to lower the age of consent for sex. Remember that?
Yep,
No, not them. Larry Summers, who up until Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, was emailing him about advice on women and how to score with
yep.
girls, even though he was married. They're not investigating Larry Summers and Alan Dershowitz. They're investigating the two students who recorded Professor Larry Summers in class talking about his relationship to Epstein. MIT, Harvard, Bill Gates, JP Morgan. I'm not letting you off the hook, mother effort Jamie Dimon that the Democratic establishment loves so much. You have to answer questions why JP Morgan was all up in the Epstein business even after he was a convicted pedophile. No one answers these questions. It's a big club, folks. It's
You
a
ain't in
big
it.
club and you ain't in it. And I just, we keep driving this home. It's a big club. It's rich, powerful men overwhelmingly, not American even. Ehud Barak, prime minister, why were you there all the time at the Epstein home? Why were you guys cavorting with these guys, right? Larry
Deepak
Summers.
Chopra, why were you there? Faith leader, spiritual leader, why were you there hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? I'm most bipartisan, right? Most intersectional, right? Right? You want to talk intersectionality, DEI,
Yeah.
inclusivity? Jeffrey Epstein's list, his network, his group.
And if I was David Brooks, I would have just said, Jeffrey Epstein is a terrible person. I was invited to this thing. He was there. But look how sleazy there. I was
Yep.
thinking about this, Danielle. If and we'll talk about American Hunger Games also, folks. There's a lot of news to cover, but I was thinking about this last night because another piece of news that happened last night is all the people who mainstreamed rode on Donald Trump's little peepee to money and fame at the Turning Point USA yesterday. I don't know if you all saw, they're turning on each other. Ben Shapiro gave a 30-minute speech calling out Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson got in and called out Ben Shapiro, and it's Erica Kirk versus Megyn Kelly, and they're all destroying each other, and everyone's now gay because they're coming out with it's the MAGA people saying this dude is gay and that person's a swinger, and I'm sitting there, and the Muslim in me is saying the following: isn't it amazing how the truth eventually comes to light? When the creator wants to raise you, you'll get raised. But once it tumbling down, even the Pharaoh at the last second was drowned. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes as a flood, as a wave, as a locust, and it brings down even the most powerful people. Just the Muslim in me was thinking about this yesterday, right? Like even the most powerful person gets humbled at times. And that's what we're seeing right now. It's like, I don't know if any of these people are going to go to jail. I know they won't. We've talked about it, but
Mm-hmm.
accountability comes in different ways. The it's being exposed. The veil is being lifted, right? And all these people, especially young people, Danielle, are saying, oh, yeah, you're all part of the same club. Democrat, Republican,
Yep.
billionaire, establishment, American, Israeli, conservative, all rich, wealthy, powerful, mostly men and some women who are grifting off of our pain and suffering and seeing the rest of us as property. Oh, we see you now. And it goes back to the point we were saying on Wednesday when we did Wednesday show with the Vanity Fair photos.
Yep.
We're now seeing it without the touch-ups, without the whitewashing,
Yep.
without the lighting. The ugliness that was always there is being revealed in real time. And before we go on to the next news about the
Mm-hmm.
ugliness,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was thinking about this as I was making my tea and you were making your tea. It's the world's like I get no joy. And me and Mary were saying this is like we've been saying this for years on Mary's show, our show, and America just didn't listen to people of color and it didn't listen to women.
I mean, and
It's the
this
world's worst. I told you so. I get
it's the
no joy.
world's worst. I told you so. But the reality is, I will say this, Wash, and I actually, before we go on to the next story, I do want to get your opinion on this. A couple of weeks ago, it's about what is today, the 19th. So it's like almost a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The Rolling Stone magazine wrote an article about Nick Fuentes, right? And that the war that has been waging between Nick Fuentes and the Republican Party is over, and Nick Fuentes has won.
Mm,
He has now been, that we thought that the breakdown was going to come with him appearing on Tucker Carlson, and that, since then, right?
not me. Not me.
He's been on Piers Morgan, right? He has had a sit down on all of these right wing shows and all of these platforms, and he is winning, right? He has won. And what you and I have said is that if America does not check Donald Trump and this regime, what comes next is going to be worse. And I believe, and I said this yesterday, folks, the show is up right now. That I did yesterday for the Danielle Moodie show. I said, I believe that Nick Fuentes, as JD Vance and Marco Rubio are trying to elbow each other in the line of succession, I think that there is an entirely different path, and I think that Fuentes is at the head of it. Your thoughts?
I tweeted a couple of years ago. I'm going to find the tweet. I think it was about 2.5 years ago. I said by 2025, white nationalist and white supremacist slogans and talking points will be mainstream. And our colleagues who are paid very well, hysterical, you're deranged, you have TDS. 2019, Trump ain't gonna leave. Hysterical, deranged, uh, how dare you? Trump is racist. Why can you be so mean? Our colleagues paternalistically finger waved at us. Waj, you're the problem. You're calling them racist. I'm like, because they behave like racists, right? And what did we say on this show when Nick Fuentes dined with Donald Trump?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was focused on Kanye. We said Nick Fuentes. This was
Mm-hmm.
before people knew him. I've been following him, folks. I said,
Yep.
why is that man there? Yeah, you got Kanye. I'm more interested in Nick Fuentes. And then I was waiting for condemnation. And there was only one article that did a follow up, Guardian. And it was Hugh Lowell at the Guardian. And the reason why Donald Trump didn't condemn Nick Fuentes 3 years ago is he realized it would hurt his base. And now, like you said, Nick Fuentes, and Stephen Miller's insane wife who cares about Jews was asked to condemn him, didn't. Don Jr. didn't. Donald Trump to this day hasn't. Tucker Carlson, who apparently loves Muslims, bullshit, has now aligned himself with Nick Fuentes, who appeared at his rally a couple of years ago. I wrote about it in the Daily Beast. I said, you guys aren't paying attention. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is so reformed. Has she condemned Nick Fuentes? Nope. Nope. JD Vance, has he condemned him? Nope. Folks, the Groypers, if not Fuentes, what he represents is the present and future of the
Yep.
GOP. And
Yep.
like I said, by 2025, you'll have white supremacists talking points mainstream. I want to give you two pieces of news.
Come on.
Remigrate is a term used in white supremacist circles for ethnic cleansing of black and brown people from America. The DHS has tweeted it 3 times. MAGA influencers are now openly saying remigrate and birthright citizenship, strip them of civilization. Only real Americans are white Americans. We were the true settlers. And just today, Donald Trump's pick for ambassador to South Africa is a man who actively opposed the fight to end apartheid. Danielle.
I mean, again, I do not like to waste my time saying people are racist when they do it for you on a loudspeaker. This is a white nationalist regime. Their goal is to re-whiten America. When the reporting came out about the demographic shift that was happening in this country, that by 2030, 2050, America would be majority minority, it was a alarm fire bell that went off in white nationalist circles, and they began their their heritage foundation project
Yep.
of how we can get into power and re-whiten America. This is now, what did they come after this week? Naturalized citizens.
There
That's
you go.
next up on the agenda, which is my parents and your parents, our entire families. I said this on the show last week. If they come after naturalized citizens, then what happens to the children of those people that have been naturalized? Even though we were born in the United States, they could decide to say, oh no, our new policies are retroactive.
Yeah,
So
fascists can do
your
anything they
parents
want.
were illegal when they came in here, and because we're now don't believe in you being a US citizen just by the virtue of you being born in this country, right? Like, I'm telling you, it's not a slippery slope. It is fucking bouncing down Everest at fucking rocket speed. So when the people continue to show you who they are, 10 years ago, we had an opportunity to have a real conversation about race and racism and white privilege and misogyny in this country. And mainstream corporate media told us we were being hysterical. They told us that, no, this isn't racism. This is racially tinged. They said, no, this also has a point of view and should be platformed, not something to be pushed to the margins. So we are here because of the complicity of those that are in power that helped to create this narrative that legitimized white nationalist ideology, and now it's sitting in the fucking White House.
I can't stand these folks because their faces are popping up in my head. All these establishment hacks, all these people that liberals give money to who are the centrists, all these people, I know them. Uh, you're crazy, TDS, you're nuts. Folks, we have people of color in this country. We have like it's like dog hearing, we hear the whistles before you all do. And the end game, we always said, I was on TV. I'll bring the receipts on this one. When I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, but on this one, it's the world's worst. I told you so. And we get no prizes. Like, what's the prize that you and me get, Danielle? Right? Do we
I'm
get any?
none. I'm
Like,
still
yeah,
waiting. I'm
we get
checking my
nothing.
mail.
And Kamala Harris goes and meets with Tim Miller and Bulwark. They bear hug Liz Cheney. The establishment like drop kicks you and me and Palestinians and everyone else who's been warning to go to all the worst people who like are just realizing right now, right? Let's be honest. Oh, yeah, white nationalism. Huh. Oh, genocide, occupation. And yet here we are. And folks, the end game. Think about the end game. You, you should never go Nazi, but if you go Nazi, go half Nazi.
Ah,
They've gone full Nazi. Uh, Coast Guard yesterday, uh, for the second time now, has walked back its policy that was apparently pushed on it by the Trump administration to downplay the swastika, noose, and Confederate flag from a symbol of hate to potentially divisive. Remigration, celebration of Nick Fuentes, who loves Hitler. Danielle said Stephen Miller openly last week said, we have stopped immigration nearly completely. Oh, except white refugees from South Africa. He openly made the distinction. Now you got this guy who's pro-apartheid as the ambassador to South Africa. You got Donald Trump
mhm,
openly saying shithole countries, which is what he said 10 years ago. And
mhm,
then he said, I didn't say that, I lied. Uh, Calling Somalis garbage people. And as this was all happening, you have two sitting elected officials, actually several more now. Randy Fine, every day, spreading the most hateful shit about Muslims. He literally said, folks, and he tweeted it again, mainstream Muslims must be destroyed. Not Al-Qaeda, not ISIS, mainstream Muslims.
mhm.
No censure. Tommy Dumbass Tuberville, Islam, not extremist Islam, Islam is a conquering ideology. No censure. No calls for censure. But
Nope.
Rashida
Not and
Tlaib,
no calls for censure from Democrats, right? So Republicans are always quick to want to cut somebody's mic off who is speaking truth to power. And Democrats usually cave because, oh, that's what they do. They don't have spines that can support them. So you have this man saying this kind of hateful, nasty shit. And what do establishment Democrats think? Oh, it would probably be a distraction, right? Was a distraction if we went after the fucking Islamophobe, the hateful, disgusting man, and ripped his microphone and removed him from committees. That would just be a distraction rather than an example of how you stand up to a fucking bigot.
and also, the folks, we keep it real. If you just kiss the ass of Democrats, this ain't the show for you. If you say vote
Well,
blue,
I somebody posted. I wanted because I wanted you to say I wanted you and I and Don C, I'm not calling you out, but I want to be very clear as to why we were saying Kamala Harris went over to the bulwark and like they're asking what's the problem with Tim Miller and Kamala Harris, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to address it.
talking to David Rothkopf about this. David Rothkopf, folks, was in the Clinton administration. David Rothkopf seen it all. David Rothkopf yesterday to me was like, these centrists, these conservatives, the Democratic Party, he called them out. He called himself out. The Clinton administration, the Obama administration, right? They just keep giving us crumbs. They keep talking about restoration instead of reformation. They keep chasing Chet, the white man with the MAGA hat, who literally says, I think you're all rapists and I want to kill you. They're like, maybe we have a chance with Chet instead of like embracing a Danielle or a pro-Palestinian activist or a transgender person, the base, right? Uh, Kamala Harris, we begged her, listen to your base on Palestine. She said, shut up, shut your mouth. I'm going to bear hug Liz Cheney. After she lost the election, do you know who Hakeem, I keep receipts, you know who Hakeem Jeffries appeared on a panel with? Not a pro-Palestinian activist, not a pro-Palestinian Jewish activist, not a Danielle, Liz Cheney. Last month, Kamala Harris did a town hall, not with a Danielle Moodie, not with a pro-Palestinian activist, not with an AOC, not with Mamdani. You know who she did with? Tim Miller of Bulwark, who helped create this mess in the first place.
Mhm.
Has never talked positively about Palestinians, right? Bulwark is all white. Go to the masthead. They do some good reporting. I tweeted out, but the centrist, you have to court this elusive Chet, right? We still hear this from them. You have to court people like me. People like you have left. There's no center anymore. There's a reason why there's just as many young people who are now MAGA as Democratic Socialists. This friggin' 10-year philosophy of chasing this unicorn white centrist, where has it gotten you? And then you think, Waj, no, no, no. And I give you this, Daniel. And refute me this for people who think
Mhm.
I'm being
Mhm.
hysterical. This guy comes out called Zoran Mamdani. And Zoran Mamdani, you don't need to find $20 million with other moderate centrists, the corporate consultants. David called them out yesterday, who tell them, oh wait, let's test everything.
Mhm.
Don't be too radical on this. Don't be progressive on this. Meet Republicans halfway. Don't imagine Medicare for all. Don't imagine taxing the rich. Don't do any of this, right? Let's find the Joe Rogan of the left. Let's abandon the woke. Zoran Mamdani did it for free. Gave you a
Mhm.
message. Came out of
Mhm.
nowhere, wins by almost 10 points. He brings out people who never vote. A third of voters don't vote. If you
Mhm.
just went over 20%, you run circles around them. All right. It is December 19th, 2025. Danielle, has the Democratic establishment, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, even Christian Gillibrand, embraced Zoran Mamdani? Yes or no?
No.
Who embraced him before Chuck Schumer publicly in the White House?
Donald Trump.
Thank you.
So, I mean, folks, this is what we're saying. I was asked recently, Danielle, who do you think, could be, and again, this is assuming we have elections. This is assuming Donald Trump leaves. This is assuming, a lot. Who do you think should be in the pipeline for 2028 for the presidency? I can't see anyone. And the reason for that is I am not going to once again put all my coins, all my faith, all of my little bit of mustard seed that I have in the laps of fucking centrist, uh, moderate, status quo, corporatist Democrats. I'm just not going to do it. And so I remember what Gavin Newsom was doing at the beginning of the year. I
I keep
remember what he was
receipts.
doing before he decided to make a pivot, because no amount of sucking up to the right wing was going to protect his state from being invaded by the National Guard and by ICE. Right. But he thought that if he did a tap dance with Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk, that then all of a sudden he would be accepted and he was going to show how open the tent actually was. I'm not here for Kamala Harris unless Kamala Harris wants to strip away all of the bullshit that she got from the focus groups and all of the things that told her don't be this and don't do that, and embracing corporate America. I don't want her either. Right. So here's the thing. I am fine with us building a pipeline of people who are actually fundamentally progressive, who have socialist ideology. I am, because you know what doesn't work? Fucking capitalism. Do you know what hasn't been working? These extractive, oppressive policies that have us believe that on top of our 9 to 5, we need 5 to 9s and then 9 to 12s in order to just keep a fucking roof over our heads. It is a lie. Right. And so I am not going to sit around with people who sold us out as Chuck Schumer did. And now we have the subsidies of Obamacare that are getting ready to expire because Mike Johnson and the Senate Republicans said, yeah, we'll give a vote. Oh yeah, we'll do this thing. Put their hands behind their back. And Chuck Schumer said the shutdown wasn't good for the country. Do you know who was on the side of Democrats during the shutdown? The American people. And what did Democrats do? Said, fuck you.
Well, wait, no. Who did it? The centrist Democrats who screwed us over. The 8 ones all paid by the lobbies. And speaking about Gavin Newsom and talking about American Hunger Games, folks, I don't think he's the one. And
Who's
2 weeks
not the
ago,
one?
Yeah, I know he's the white unicorn that a lot of white America loves. I don't believe in him. I'm from the Bay Area. I've seen his entire career. You know, he's a good politician. He's like he's fighting right now. Good for him. But 2 weeks ago, he was given a meatball down the middle. Hey, how about taxing billionaires? And you know what
Mm.
he said? It's a big tent,
Mm-hmm.
folks. And going back full circle with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson, and y'all aren't paying attention. I'm gonna say it again. Don't dismiss the Candace Owens, Tuckers, and Nick Fuenteses. They're going to the left of the Democratic Party on the following: Israel Palestine, because they realize this is a Gaza generation radicalized in real time. Notice how they talk about Israel, and they also inject anti-Semitism. They speak with both sides of their mouth. Look what Tucker said yesterday after throwing Ilhan Omar and Somalis under the bus and spreading white nationalism. He said, "Why are we hating on the Muslims? That isn't the Republican Party of me." I'm like, "Go f yourself." But it was effective, and it spread to Muslims all around the world. Oh, look, at least Tucker gets it right. Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Epstein Files. When it comes to Mamdani, they ain't dumb. Tucker Carlson and even Trump, what did they do? They embraced him. When it comes to AI, all these Democrats have rushed to support AI. Jeffries and all the Gavin Newsom and even Ted Lieu. Guess who's calling out AI, folks? Steve Bannon. You guys are paying attention to this? And then now they realize, oh shit, there might be a revolution. The 99% are against the 1%. People hate billionaires. So now they're moving. It's all performative. I don't know. It's all politics. I don't give a shit. But this is what's to win over people. And you live long enough that you see a Mitt Romney say this before
Oh
Gavin
Lord.
Newsom today.
I just, and I said, watch, I said, we are truly living in the upside down. When Mitt Romney, right, born with a platinum spoon in his mouth, who was caught, right, in a donor fundraiser, throwing the 99% of us under the bus and saying that we need to stop getting handouts.
47% exact number.
47% need to stop getting handouts. Mitt Romney now has a piece in the New York Times, tax the rich like me. I'm looking outside because this is the seventh circle of hell. Has it frozen over for you, Wash?
You know what? Mitt Romney's terrible. Uh, he helped get us here in the first place. He's a rich man, multimillionaire. He's the person, like Danielle said, you know, that video that I think was found by David Corn and released on Mother Jones, where, you know, 40, he literally thinks 47% of Americans are grifters. Even he's coming around. This came out today. This came out today. He's coming around before Chuck Schumer and Gavin Newsom, folks. All right. You have 2 years. Anything can happen in 2 years, man. You have to primary these mother efforts because it's a big club and you ain't in it. And as it's all happening, here you go.
Oh my
Here you
God.
go, Danielle, from yesterday. You want to
Yeah,
tell him
I
yesterday?
just yeah, so let me see. And I apologize in advance, folks, because you know that I do my best not to show you videos of him, but just because you have to take a listen.
In the fall, we will host the first ever Patriot Games, an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state and territory. But I promise there will.
So I don't know if they were showing Hunger Games in the nursing home that is now the White House. I don't know if they watched all of the episodes, all of the series of Hunger Games, but evidently Donald Trump thinks that this is a great idea that he has plucked out of his mind. And I tell you, let me just state in advance, if you think that all of the people coming from these states and territories aren't going to be white kids that are all blonde and blue eyed and have the perfect measurements, the ones that Donald Trump likes, you will be sadly mistaken. It is going to be the most false representation of America that you could possibly ever see.
Yeah, Mandy knows what's up. I also let's hope he doesn't watch Battle Royale, fantastic Japanese movie based on a Japanese manga that has kids from a classroom engaging in this. It was most dangerous game. Battle Royale, Hunger Games, but now they're just straight up saying Hunger Games. And remember, folks, he also wants to have UFC fighting on the White House lawn. Now, things are going so great, right, in Donald Trump's economy. I heard his rant. Old man yells at cloud Wednesday night address. It's the golden age. This is the golden age. So let me just go through it pretty quick.
Please.
The golden age. Food bank use tops 100,000 in Southern Nevada, surging 25% in November. I got that yesterday. Surging 25% in November. Oh, look, also in November, the longest line I have ever seen at our local church food bank. Been standing here for an hour and 34 degrees, small town in Kentucky with a population of less than of 4,800. Basically, 10% of the population is waiting at the food bank. Virginia, during the government shutdown, you
Yep.
had veterans and government employees right here at food banks. Oh, look, U.S. grocery prices last month hit a record high as monthly cost for a family of four reaches $1,030. And Donald Trump said egg prices are down, grocery prices are down. He was lying. Oh, look, they talked about the inflation being down, inflation being down. Yeah, because we're not getting all the data, number one. And number two, there was a temporary blip because of the government shutdown. But look, November CPI report, quote, should not be taken literally or guide monetary policy, says Jonathan Hill, head of U.S. inflation strategy at Barclays, because they tried yesterday to really BS. He's like, look, inflation dipped. And everyone's like, we don't even have all the data, and the Americans don't believe him, right? Fact check of Trump's unhinged speech. CPI was 3% in January, still 3%. Prices have increased because of tariffs, who
Yep.
Donald Trump said on Wednesday, my favorite word is tariffs.
Tariffs.
Unemployment was 4%, 4.2%. It's now 4.6% ever since the pandemic.
Hold
Only
on, because I'll play the video for a minute.
Off talking about affordability and prices and the idea that prices are coming down. But we can just look at the inflation rate year over year, Caitlin, and what can we see? Back in January, the inflation rate, according to CPI, was 3.0%. You saw by April, it was dipping down. It was 2.3%. That was right around the time that the tariffs really started to get implemented. Look at where we are now in the latest reading, September. We'll get another reading out, I believe, tomorrow. But the latest reading we get out, 3%. That matches where we were in January, Caitlin. Prices have not, in fact, fallen according to the broadest measure of the inflation rate. He also spoke about jobs, right? Well, you know, John King was talking about the unemployment rate. Look, in January, it was 4.0%. By May, 4.2%. Now the latest reading that was out earlier this week, 4.6%. The highest unemployment rate since 2021. Now, these are the measures of the economy, right? But how do Americans actually feel about it? And all I can say is they feel awfully about it, because take a look here. Percentage who say that we're on the right track when it comes to inflation. Just 20%, just 20% of Americans say we're on the right track. The vast majority of Americans think we're on the wrong track when it comes to inflation. What about jobs? Just 27% of Americans think we're on the right track when it comes to jobs in this country. So we're talking about under 30% on two key economic metrics. And then I'll leave you with this, Caitlin Collins, and that is Donald Trump's economic net approval rating. It is just flat out awful, and it has declined precipitously since the beginning of his second term in office. Look at this. Trump's net approval rating on the economy. In January, he was in positive territory at plus 6%. Way down he goes. Now, according to the latest Reuters Ipsos poll, he is 25 points underwater. Donald Trump was elected to fix the economy. It was a strength for him during his first term, but at this point, it is an anchor on him, and that is why we're seeing poll after poll after poll showing him with a net negative approval rating, and in some polls, the worst approval rating he has had in his entire second term.
That's a 31-point turnaround in less than a year.
I mean, and this is why I say, watch, that I do not believe that we are going to have free and fair elections come midterm, because there is no way that you see those kinds of numbers and you're not making some sizable fucking pivots. No, instead, what is Donald Trump doing? Announcing the Hunger Games to distract everyone from the fact that the Epstein Files ain't coming out today, and to distract people from the fact that you're standing in bread lines and you are not going to be able to afford health care in the next month. Like, I mean, it's insane. And so there is nobody who is actually running for office. And this is why I'm like, He has given Republicans nothing to run on in 2026. Not a goddamn thing. They can't run on the economy. They can't run on immigration. They can't run on healthcare. He's given them nothing, which leads me to believe because they're not going to have to run. Those are my thoughts.
No, we've talked about it, and I talked to Glenn Kirshner about it, and Glenn usually was always a bit more cautious, but he agreed with me. He had me on a show last week, and he says, "Yeah, I say if we have elections." I think we have to keep our eyes wide open. People are suffering from a failure of imagination. National Guard is on our streets, folks. ICE is just straight up kidnapping people. Donald Trump, Stephen Miller are talking about insurrection. So if you don't think it can happen here, what happened on January 6th, folks? I don't think they'll leave. Well, I'll take it back. They'll eventually leave. I don't think they're going to leave peacefully and
Right.
lawfully.
Right.
And with these types of numbers, folks, yeah, good luck. I want to show you all the golden age, where I'm going to give you a couple more examples just to let you know that the cruelty of these people, right? He didn't inherit a historic influence. This is Daniel Dale, who I think went into a coma trying to fact check Donald Trump's lies. Inflation is to cut 400 to 600% drug prices are mathematically possible, but Donald Trump, the idiot, said that. Grocery prices are going up. There's no $18 trillion investment. 199 gas is false. 25 million people invading America is false. It's under 11 million, and they're not even invading. Crime was not near record highs under Biden. He did not settle 8 wars. He literally just trying to start one in Venezuela. Speaking about the golden age, I'm going to have a doctor later on today on the Left Hook talking about what's happening with the CDC just being destroyed. Measles outbreak. South Carolina, now you have 2,000 cases. Folks, measles was almost eradicated because of vaccines, but congratulations, we got the pro-death cult. They want to protect the kids so they can kill them with measles. Oh, not measles? Don't worry. We're going to get them with the whooping cough.
Whooping cough. The stuff of fairy tales, folks. The stuff that was from the 19th century. Whooping cough is now back. 26,000, not 2,600, 26,000 cases and 13 deaths.
For kids. Speaking about kids also, give me, 1 second. Let me, before I go to whooping cough, hepatitis C vaccine. So now you're going to have liver cancer in children, right? Also kids and moms who are pregnant or moms who want kids, you need healthcare, right? Danielle.
Yeah, the premium hikes in the districts of the 4 House Republicans who snubbed leadership and signed the discharge petition on 3-year ACA funding. In Fitzpatrick's district, there'll be a 124% increase from $445 to $994 per month for healthcare. In Mackenzie's district, there'll be a 158% increase from $445 to $1,146 per month. In Brashannon's district, there'll be a 212% increase from $445 to $1,386 per month. Per month. In Lawler's district, there'll be a 92% increase from $445 to $853 per month.
But folks, as this is happening, we have priorities, and these are the priorities of the Trump administration. Danielle.
Oh, great. So, Hunger Games, right? Now, the bullshit announcement of changing the name of the Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center after they called all of the actual artists and leaders and brilliant people associated with the Kennedy Center and filled it up with bootlicking sycophants. I was happy to see somebody said this on social media yesterday. This is akin to naming a library after somebody who brags about not reading.
And also, the reason why it's such a big deal, man, Kennedy was a president. So is Trump just going to go and now call the DCA? I don't call it Reagan. Now he's going to just say Trump Reagan airport, right? He's going to do it with Lincoln. And also, we don't even know if it's oh yeah, and the Kennedy board went ahead and did it, and today they just put up his name right now. So the board of directors said, let's bend the knee. It would take an act of Congress to do it this officially. Guess what? Just happened today because no one's stopping him, right? And so this is Maria Shriver, who, as you know, for folks who don't know, is part of the Kennedy family. And she was enraged, and many people of the Kennedy family are really angry. Because she was like, man, this was like, after a president, he was assassinated, Congress, we have other monuments and statues and buildings named after other presidents, and is he just going to come and take it over? And America says, yeah, sure, that's what he's going to do. This is his priority, as there are hunger lines, folks, as
Yep.
people are starving. But no, there's also the petty, the plaques. Do we have the plaques?
You can say what they are. I don't have the video.
Yeah. Look, he puts up these plaques. Look at this gaudiness. Look what they did. Look at this trash, this vulgarian trash. So they have plaques up, and with the plaque under Biden and the plaque under Obama, he just sits there like a piece of shit troll and mocks them and ridicules them. And it's so gross in the White House, folks. It's so gross that Brian Kilmeade, this is my tweet. You brought it up.
The one, just killed the homeless.
Yeah, the guy who last month says, the homeless, why don't we just kill them? It's so bad that even just killed a homeless guy goes, yeah, this is too much. They've lost even the just killed the homeless people.
It's just like, again, it's obscene. And I'm at the point where I can say that if we ever regain control of American government, if we ever regain control of the White House, the Senate, the House, if there's anything left of the MAGAfied Supreme Court, I honestly want the White House to be leveled, because the amount of damage that Donald Trump has done, the disgusting nature of it all, like, I just want it leveled. And this is a place that I still hold in such high regard, that every time that I'd had the honor of going to the White House was in awe, right? Walking down the East Wing, like just taking in the history of it. And the other day, I'll say this. I was flying for work, hence why I'm sick. And I was watching Scandal, right? I was watching on the plane. And, I loved political dramas. I love, the West Wing, Scandal. Like, I love those types of shows and movies and everything like that. And even in these fictional places, there is a reverence for history. There is a reverence for what America symbolizes. There is a reverence for all of that. And what makes me sick, so sick about these people that are in control of our country, is that they could care less. They could care less about the weight of history as they walk through those halls. They could care. I mean, they probably spit and put, I remember from the first administration, people saying that Donald Trump had to be told so many times over, don't put your fucking sweaty Coke can on the Resolute desk and leave rings. Like, that just shows you, like, just the absolute disregard, right? And the fact that 77 million Americans said, let him have at it again. What does that say about America? I mean,
it's a country that refuses to confront its white supremacy, its misogyny, and its corruption. And until it does, we're just going to get reboots of Donald Trump, and we're going to get the lost cause. We're going to get more. We're going to get Nazis. We're going to have our first Nazi president in 2032 if the majority doesn't act up. And I have no faith in this current Democratic establishment, folks. I'm telling you. I don't. They haven't embraced Mamdani. They caved. And now we're going to get healthcare subsidies not being extended, which is millions of Americans are going to increase their prices. They're weak. They're not built for this moment. They're not made for this fight. They're sucking at the teat of the oligarchy. They still take photos with Netanyahu. We have 2 years to primary the shit out of them. That's all we have.
Oh, wait, before you go, because I know you have something, but we have to get to this.
Well, that's what I was.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So yeah, case in point. Thank you, Danielle, for bringing the receipts. Yesterday, the Democratic National Committee announced it would block the release of its own autopsy, which would, have some transparency as to how the Democrats could lose to a corrupt vulgarian. How could they lose to a criminal? How could they lose to a man twice who partied with Epstein? And Ken Martin said, "Oh, now that it seems like we might be winning, we're just gonna block the release of it and just help out our buddies." I saw this, Danielle, and I said, pathetic. Burn down the establishment. I'm done with you. I'm done. I'm done with the Democratic establishment. Folks, I know there's no both sides here. Democrats are much better than Republicans because the Republicans have full Nazi. I get it. But I'm done with the crumbs.
Yep.
My entire adult life, I've been told by the Democrats, just wait. My
Yep.
entire adult life, I've been told by the Democrats, no, 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 be moderate. My entire adult life, I've said, be centrist. My entire adult life, this is not the time for reformation, punt on immigration, punt on healthcare, punt on keeping the rich accountable. The young people are done, folks. You think I'm done? You're not paying attention to young people. You're not looking at the polls. There's a reason why there's just as many people identifying as MAGA as Democratic Socialists. That to you is a signal that young people don't give a shit about Democrats or Republicans. You saw the poll for Democrats; it's the lowest it's ever been. They're done with the establishment and institutions, and this is the reason why, Danielle.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that and they said, we just want to look forward. And I say, I said, this is the problem. How can you possibly chart a path forward without any reflection on what transpired, without any real, let me sit, let me think, let me marinate on how we could lose, right? Now, whether you feel like there were, nefarious things that occurred, the fact is that they couldn't sway the people. And you should understand why that is. And so I truly am curious. I really want this leaked. I really do want it leaked because I want to know if it was what I believe, which is that they were too fucking centrist. And if that's what they don't want to admit so that they can keep up with their corporatist front and keep lining their own pockets. I don't know.
And I also think they realized we were too centrist, we were too timid. We aligned ourselves with the Lincoln Project, Never Trumper, Bulwark, Liz Cheney crowd too much. We abandoned Palestine. I guarantee you it's in there. I guarantee you it's in there. We should have broken with Joe Biden's failed genocidal policy. They don't want to admit it. And there are a lot of donors who don't want that shit out there. And there's a lot of corporate donors who say, hey, 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 suck it, my teat. And the Chuck Schumer's that, I love your teat. And Hakeem Jeffries, they're not going to change, folks. Danielle and I have been saying Jeffries and Schumer. We have a lot of people are just on Schumer. I'm like, oh, no, no, no.
Nope.
Jeffries, they're not built for this fight. They're not made for this moment. And I will say this. You all think it's Newsom or Buttigieg. I don't think so. And if everyone's in the prediction business, I'll go ahead and predict. Why not? I could be wrong. Mamdani came out of nowhere, folks. Out of nowhere. Assemblyman. And look at him now. So you all think it's going to be your chosen white horse, your centrist,
Nope.
I don't think so. Because things are about to get far, far worse. Forget 2 years in the next year. Everyone I've talked to, I said, folks, I think it's going to get far worse. They're like, yep. Everyone has said, yep. And we haven't even talked about the greatest wealth transfer in history happening with the big billionaire bill, which is going to gut Medicaid, Danielle. So you got gutting of Medicaid, which is going to also hurt Medicare. It's going to shut down hospitals. Economy is going to get worse. God forbid one of these bubbles bursts, right? Donald Trump's going to get more violent, more civil unrest. More of these countries are going to abandon America. The tariff policy is going to be terrible. So you think a centrist who sucks at the teat of the oligarchy is going to be the guy? Israel's balls out genocidal. There's going to be more terrible stuff is happening. The people who bear hug Netanyahu are going to say the people who embrace fascism abroad are going to be the ones who fight fascism here. Danielle,
Yep.
I know people. I heard someone say this. I want to end by asking you this question. I'm old enough to remember that things got so bad in this country in 2007 that this country said, this black Muslim named Hussein, I'll give him a shot. And I heard people say there's no way that a black Muslim named Hussein will win. Things got so bad, Danielle,
Hmm.
that this country, that's the only reason why this country voted for a black man. I think it's going to get worse. And I do think an AOC or an outsider progressive person of color can come. And I think if things get really bad, if that person comes and is a fighter, goes against the oligarchy, separates from the Democratic establishment, throws corporations and Israel under the bus, I think they'll motivate the majority, and the Democrats will do everything in their power to destroy them, but they'll fail.
Yeah, I just, I believe that to be true, and I also don't want it to happen. I am tired of black people, people of color, and women being the janitors of this country. I am tired of them being the mules that always end up having to clean up after white cis het men want to destroy, and then we're there with a broom cleaning everything up, putting everything on our shoulders and our backs, getting no appreciation for it, being thrown under the bus time and time again by mainstream corporate media, having to defend the decency that we show up with, and being taken for granted. And frankly, I'm at a point, and I've said this before: the America that we have known is never coming back. Right? It is not. It is done. It is a wrap. And so, what comes next is going to be up to the American people. But do I think that it's going to be back to business as normal? No. I think that what Donald Trump is preparing to do in 2026, I believed him when he said in his that bullshit address, "The best is yet to come." Yeah, and in my mind, that was a threat. So, I don't know what comes after this, but I know that so much more is going to go wrong. So much more pain is going to happen. And I think that what comes next is violence.
Yeah, he's not. They're desperate. He's a dying man who's desperate. And folks, you're not. If you don't pay attention to MAGA, well, consider yourself lucky. I am in there. They've been obsessed with me. They're influencers. I'm not talking about the fringe anymore. I'm talking about the contributors, the commentators, the leaders, the elected officials. I say without any exaggeration, the hoods are off, the swastikas are on. They are fully all in embracing neo-Nazi white supremacist documents, remigration, ethnic cleansing, ending birthright citizenship, denaturalization. They're embracing Robert E. Lee. They're saying that they are the true settlers and conquerors. Now they're using the word conquerors of this country.
Yep.
They're attacking Somalis, black people. They want a holy war with Islam because there's also white Christian nationalists. They're playing for all the marbles. Once you go full Nazi, you can't go back.
Cannot
Folks,
go
they're
back.
playing for all the marbles, and that's about 25% of this country. But we have the majority. We have to organize. And the one thing that might help us is they have failed utterly on the economy, and the color green still trumps the color white in this country. They have failed on healthcare. They have united the country on one issue, the Epstein Files, because that's one thing where this country says, yeah, raping girls, nah. And over 80% of Americans, regardless of their political affiliation, once they release the Epstein Files, I think a lot of the people of color who got duped realize, oh shit, they're coming after me. I think the reason why Mitt Romney did what he did was like, oh shit, they came after me. I think the reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene did what she did was, hey, I don't like being attacked and threatened. Also, if you saw Turning Points USA yesterday, they're petty, they're catty, they're vindictive, and now they're turning on each other. And then finally, they're very incompetent, Danielle. So we can use all of these
Yep.
levers to our advantage. There's still a chance, but you have to demand more. You have to hope for more. Dream big, folks. Don't be content with the crumbs that the corporate centrists have been feeding you. Demand more. And that is my message for all of you. I will be, Danielle,
Hmm.
doing something that my family has not done in we're going on our first kind of vacation. So I think we're going to be gone for like 10 days. Uh, I don't know if we can do democracy-ish for a week and a half, but I should not. This is the thing. Why is Danielle here, even though she's dying? Because she has bills to pay. And my mom, God bless my mom. My mom's like, better enjoy your family, but maybe once a day, do 15 minutes. Do a
Your
monologue.
mom said that?
Because she's
Oh,
like,
that's funny.
she's like, you're on a roll. You have momentum. You and Danielle have momentum. You have a fan. People forget. And so my mom put on the capitalist hat. She goes, maybe 15 minutes a day. Find time and do commentary. I think people like it. So, and she's like, I want you to rest too, but you and Danielle, 15 minutes a day. Tell Danielle also. I'm like, oh, Danielle will be doing 37 shows.
No,
Uh,
I honestly, I'm not, I won't be taking a break until I travel. I'm leaving the country for a little bit. But even while I'm gone, I'm going to be, recording. So, folks, we will keep you posted, because I am up for your mom's 15 minutes a day. I would love if if she stood behind you with a countdown clock. And
and then she
she's
just says,
like,
wrap it up.
it's over.
I get messages from my mom. I don't know if you do. She's like, Danielle looks fresh. You look old. Look at Danielle wearing makeup. Put some powder on.
Put some powder
Like
on.
we had like a great show. She goes, get new clothes. And my favorite, one of my favorite top 5 mother quotes of mine. This is the exact quote my mom. I'm the only child. God gave you such a nice face, and you waste it.
I
I'm the only
need
child.
I need to meet Mama Ali. I have got to
She's
meet her.
comedy. She's very funny.
Ah,
She goes, you could be so handsome. God gave you such a nice face, and you just waste it. And then she just walks away.
amazing. Yeah, so folks, we will keep you posted. Waj, I will be as flexible as you need. And yeah, we will make
But
sure.
Danielle, promote yourself. Danielle,
Ah,
like Damon, Danielle puts everything for free. She's completely independent. If you're watching on YouTube, I know there's a lot of people watching today. It's great. It's at Danielle Moodie on YouTube. How many subscribers do you need, Danielle?
I need every subscriber. I wanted to hit my goal at the end of this year of 40,000. That is not happening, but I appreciate all of the 35.7 thousand that we did amass this year. Every single one of you, I appreciate so very much. And for all of the super stickers and super thanks, like literally Julie here, thank you so much. Is
Wow, that's huge.
$50. Amazing. Purpose for your 19. Miriam, Susan, our wonderful moderator, Soka gifting a membership to the channel. D, thank you for my Get Better Fund. Becky, so thank you so much. And Becky again, E. Schwartz as always. And Susan, Mama Ali guest request. Folks, it's independent, we're independent, so every single dollar that you donate allows us to do the work that we do. And yes, the Damn Digest, if you're watching on there, think about becoming a subscriber. Think, if you have the resources, we know that things are tight, but think about becoming a paid subscriber. Running a special right now until December 24th, Christmas Eve.
What's the
And
link?
oh shit, you would ask me, and like, you always do this right with your link, and I don't think that I.
You know what I did? I was doing it terrible, and I have the link ready to go in a doc file. So I just copy paste knowing myself.
Oh, okay. Okay, I will repost it.
But let me
I'll
hold on. Let
repost.
me do it for you. Just give me a second.
Oh, you're so
Uh
good.
hold on. Oh, I see. I'm on your website. Hold on one second. Uh
Tina, thank you so much.
did someone put it there or no?
No.
Okay, hold on, wait. Everyone wait. Okay, I'm putting it in my Substack that we have 1,900 people watching. It's daniellemoodie.substack.com. Daniellemoodie.substack.com. If someone can post it in the YouTube chat, it'd go a long way. And Danielle, can you tell them like what's 350 or something? How much
I
is it?
think I'm running 20% off. Substack.com. I'm running 20% off. So I think I think I just posted it in there. And that is running, so I don't do math. Everyone knows that. That's why I talk for a living. So do check it out if you're watching on the Damn Digest. Yeah, folks, appreciate you. I will be back next week. God willing, I will be better. And I'll be doing some shows, and we'll see if we can get Waj for 15 minutes. But we also want him to enjoy his family and his time. And
Yeah,
actually,
let's. I like Danielle and I for our safety, especially now with the entirety of the right wing on me. We don't tell people where we're going, so this will be an interesting. I'll tell you afterwards.
okay.
It's fun. Hopefully, inshallah, it goes well for the family. And also, folks, it's the Left Hook Damn Digest, no paywalls. Like Danielle, I have a special up. The special, like I think, like Daniel's 25% off. We had it for Black Friday. We call it the Terrible Capitalist Black Friday sale. But so many people said, I mean, just how the economy is so bad. Everything's free because we're terrible capitalists, but we depend on the kindness of our viewers. So it was $5 a month, which is super cheap. But I think the math is, we did 25% off, so it's like $3.80 per month,
Yeah.
$38 a year. And so many people message me saying, I've been watching for free. I love what you and Danielle do, but I can afford $3.80. So even that $1.20 goes a long way. So Danielle and I have extended it for the new year. I just posted it in my Substack. I'll post it again. If someone could post it on the
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, it's thelefthook.substack.com/discount. Thelefthook.substack.com/discount. We're going to keep it up to the new year, me and Danielle. It goes a long way, folks. We're completely independent, which is why we could talk like this. And if you don't have the resources, we get it. Just subscribe. Just subscribe. It goes a long way. Like Danielle's video. This video will be out on YouTube in a second. It'll
Yep.
be published later today on my Substack and Danielle's Substack for the 2,000 people watching on my Substack, for the 1,200 people watching on Twitter, and Danielle on YouTube. Thanks so much. If we can't see you, happy holidays, but knowing full well traveling, I will be a masochist and probably do the 15 minutes as my mom is in the background.
Because his mom gave him permission to do so. Folks, I will see you back for the Danielle Moodie Show on Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We will check in with Waj, but I will definitely be back for most of next week except for Christmas Day. All right, dear friends, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, get some rest, drink water, stay fresh. And as Waj always says, please, oh, please don't be a fascist. Bye, y'all.